Attention comedy fans, the one and only Sebastian Maniscalco is coming to XL Energy Center. Get ready for an unforgettable night of laughter and fun when he takes the stage on Friday, February 14th. Tickets are on sale now. Get the full details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
It was a sellout at Huntington Bank on Saturday night. Ron Johnson, nowhere to sit. So he just went fieldside because they let Red Zone Ron hang out fieldside as part of that 24/7 Gophers victory. Do you think, and I have PJ on later on this hour, it's like you know what Darius Taylor can do, you know what he means to this offense, and Marcus Major, terrific compliment, right? And PJ is going to use his guys. But, when Darius is feeling it the way he did have that fumble in the first half, but he bounces back. 200 total yards from him. This Darius Taylor cat is unfreaking believable, Ron.
Yeah, Marshall Faulk, Ricky Waters, think about that. That's the type of back. Edgerrin James, he's not a power back, but he's a back that can, you saw him drop the shoulder on that one kid. That's going to be on SportsCenter as well. He lowered the boom. It was loud, too, being down there and hearing it and seeing it. And so what Darius Taylor gives you, he can catch 10 passes in a game. He can take 20 carries in a game. He gives PJ the flexibility to say, you know what? If this is the best run defense in the conference, let's run more tall sweeps. Let's get them in the perimeter. Let's put them in the slot. I think the evolution of Darius Taylor is going to be Ricky Waters type stuff. Motioning out the backfield, a la old school Tecmo Bowl. You remember he used to go to the line and then go to the right or left?
Yep.
Motioning out the backfield, seeing who's covering them. If he has a linebacker, now he's doing Clinton Portis type stuff, running choice routes, running out routes, and design routes. I think this, Greg Harbaugh has an embarrassment of riches, but it's how do I also make sure I don't get too complacent on get Derek, because then people are going to take him out the game. You got to go to Daniel Jackson. But yeah, Darius Taylor is a beast, man. His vision, and him and Marcus Majors are different. When you watch Marcus Majors with a couple of those runs and then you see Darius come in the game, he makes people miss in a phone booth. And that's the key. There was one, I think it was an outside zone type run, and it looked like he was dead to rights running towards the, I don't know if that was a linebacker or DN, but he just stuck his foot in the ground, stepped over an arm tackle because the guy kind of dove down. He stepped over the arm tackle and then somehow got 8 yards. And it was 3 guys right there. He's very smart, and he has really good control with his body. The only thing he's missing, and he's going to get it eventually, is once you get into the open field, understanding, stop looking, just go. Because he still kind of looks every once in a while. You can tell that
he's very aware of what's around him.
Yeah, he's trying to, and I know it's the ball protection stuff, and do I need the coverage? Can I run? But once he realizes I got a seam, then you'll see him start to break more, because he does still kind of look around a little bit. But no, he's legit. He is one of the best backs, if not the best back in the Big Ten. I know Khalil Johnson at Iowa is really good as well.
Oh yeah.
But he's up there. He's good because he's different though. Khalil's a true running back. Darius is he's an everything back.
He kind of reminds me. And speaking of your father's former team, the Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Now things got weird for Le'Veon Bell.
Yep.
But there's a patience element in how smooth he is.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sitting on the couch on Saturday night with a stopwatch, but it feels like 2-3 real time seconds of him just feeling it out, and then there's the time to go, and he goes. There's a smoothness to his game that's just really impressive to me.
Yeah, one of my favorite memes, and Max can appreciate this. It's a meme that says, it says girl, so the words are her. It says, hey, we got to take this slow. I really like you. I just need you to be patient in this relationship. And then it says me, and it's the person, and it's a video of Le'Veon Bell in the backfield being patient. See, Max can appreciate that. Max is in that age group of the meme world. And it's somebody said, this is what guys are sending girls now when they say, hey, I like you, but can you be patient with me? And then they send her a video of Le'Veon Bell at his best. And they were like, if she gets it, then she's the one. Because, Le'Veon Bell was extremely patient in the backfield. That's 3 Ron Johnson on Instagram, by the way. I'm obligated to say that
that's the number
every
3.
hour. Yeah, the number 3, that's Ron Johnson on Instagram. But yeah, you're right. Like Darius Taylor has that kind of patience. You see him wait, you see him let the box. And Quinn Carroll and Ariante Ursery, they're really good. They're really good offensive linemen. Ariante Ursery, if not a first day guy, for sure is going to be gone on that second day. He is really good. And so that's as well. Darius understands, these guys are going to get to their blocks. Let me just give them time. But he never loses ground. Like, think about that with Adrian Peterson. Remember, he had like some of the most negative runs,
right,
but then he would break them. Darius is not giving you those negatives.
Well, a good
He's
example of that,
line.
Zeke Elliott.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's at the very end now.
Yeah.
But he's a fall forward guy. Aaron Jones is a fall forward type back. And it's been super impressive. I had my okay boomer moment on Saturday night.
I saw your tweet. I was going to say something.
Awesome win for the Gophers.
I left you alone.
Fans storming the crowd, storming the field, though. Come on. And you know what I realized quite quickly, and I appreciate the fans, is that my opinion was certainly in the minority of that particular conversation. But as I said to you yesterday, regardless of all that, whatever.
What did you say? What was your tweet?
It was I think, awesome win for the Gophers. Fans storming the field, though. Come on. But I will say this. What it tells me, and it was a sold out. You were there. You know the aura was rocking, right?
Yeah, it was crazy.
USC, I mean.
And they did the stripe out. They paid attention.
But it's a helmet school. It's an institution.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm not impacted. You don't play USC very often. I don't care that the last time you beat them is 1955. But really what I got out of it as they're storming the field. And I wasn't saying, by the way, that it should be illegal.
Right.
It's just that I would not have done that. But that's okay.
I'm good for a movie reference. You see the movie Friday, right?
Yes, I've seen the movie
You were
Friday.
Stanley in that moment. You were Stanley on your tweet. Could you stay off my freaking grass?
Not in my backyard. You're right.
I love Max back there because he gets all this stuff. Like, he was definitely Stanley, Max. Like, he had
100%.
He had a Stanley tweet.
Hold on here. It's not like I haven't watched the Rush Hour movies. It's not like I haven't watched Friday.
I'm surprised you've seen Friday, though.
Right.
Oh, Friday's all time.
Yeah.
But Max gets
my buddy's
all my
nickname
stuff.
is Debo because of that movie.
Like, my favorite tweet follow is Max. Because, like, we get each other. We're both black. That's one thing.
Okay.
But I know, like, some of the movie stuff.
And beautiful.
And beautiful.
Thank you.
Max's hair is elite.
It is.
By the way.
It's
like, in
high-end.
the kimono. Like, that's a different level of,
Aura is off the chart.
That's like
that's plus 10,000 aura.
I'm about to say,
It's
my
pure
daughter would
sex.
say that's plus 10,000 aura. No cap. That's not skibbity toilet dog water. It's not.
It's one Hana.
The fan base on the field, they're thirsty for this, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and I mentioned it last segment, and you know, PJ, this week is its own little universe, and we move on and all of those things, but the way he's kind of talked about it, and as a motivator, as a guy that's got to build confidence in his team, I understand how he frames some of this stuff up. You know, bad half of football or a bad quarter against North Carolina. Second half, I mean, they didn't. I mean, I think Iowa had the ball for like 13 minutes of that third quarter.
Yeah.
And so you start looking, and you can say that the refs screwed you over on the onside kick bid.
They did. They
at
changed
the big
it.
house.
They apologized to us.
They apologized for it. That's after the fact. You had, hopefully you had other opportunities to not rely on the onside kick. All of that. The fan base is on fire for this freaking team when things are good.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, as casual fans, you can get into it when they're good, you love it. When they're bad, you don't watch or whatever it is. But a full house in Huntington Bank, a fan base, a student populace that is so hungry for this team to have moments like it did on Saturday. And that's, again, my okay boomer moment aside, I thought that was special, man. I thought it was super cool that they took down USC, and it's like new teams in the conference, and you had a chance to win the West, and you never freaking did.
Right.
Wins like this are badass.
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't do what Vandy did. They didn't try to take the goalpost down the Mississippi River. Like, Vandy traveled, 3 miles, they said, to get to their river to dump their own. That's your own field goal post, too.
Why
It's
are
not
you
like
tearing
you're
down your own stuff?
Right. It's not like you're in Alabama and you're in your own home. You basically destroyed your home. Like, that's like having a house party and you're the worst person at your own house party. Like, that was dumb.
I just picture like the equipment staff, by the way, or whoever's in charge of, maintaining the turf and all of that. And the guy that paints the lines and stuff, he's like, hey, Daryl.
They got the goalpost again.
We got to get the goalpost again.
I know whoever has to order the new. I mean, I know they have extra ones just in case somebody dunks it and breaks them. But I know the person has to go put it up, though. I know they're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, we suck. And we beat Alabama, and now we're going to go take a goalpost. But one thing to your point, though, about this. When we talked about this West Coast, UCLA, USC, at the start of the season, we thought it was going to be tough. It is.
Oh, yeah.
USC is tough. UCLA is not. Like, for those that don't know,
They don't look
Deshaun
good.
Foster, that's my guy. We both got drafted in 2002 together. I had him on the Ron Johnson show on my podcast. And so The joke we always have now is that, because I text him like, dude, really? Did you just tell the whole world UCLA is in LA? Like, we know that. He's like, damn, man. He's like, man. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know what I was thinking. He came up there like, for those that don't know.
He had a nice career, too.
He was really good.
Yeah.
And with the Panthers, remember they went to the Super Bowl with Moose, Musim Muhammad, and Delhomme. Oh, yeah. I used to use them and Steve Smith. I used him on Madden a lot.
You know what's nutty? Julius Peppers retired, it feels like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was either a rookie or maybe a second-year standout for them back then.
He was a rookie. We all came together. So me, Peppers, like my picture, I haven't put it up yet in our new house, but I have it. It's me, Peppers, Clinton Portis, Kelly Campbell. Remember Kelly Campbell? Yeah, Kelly was in our group. We had a fun group. Antoine Randall was there. Liddell Betts from Iowa was there. TJ Duckett.
Yeah,
like, we had a good fun group
cool
of class. Yeah. We had Mike Williams, the tackle from Texas, was there. Then our receivers were like Ashley Lalee, Javon Walker, remember Dante Stallworth?
Oh, 100%.
He was in that group from Tennessee. So
he won Super Bowls with the Pats, right?
Yep.
And Javon was a Packer.
He was a Packer.
Yeah.
And so we all kind of talk every once in a while. But I text Deshaun Foster after that press conference, and I'm like, dude, did you really just tell the whole world that you're in LA? Your name is UCLA. Like, what did you think we thought? Louisiana? He was like, well, maybe. I was like, dude. I mean, I know Nebraska doesn't have the internet, but we have the internet in most of the Big Ten. Sorry, people, that's an old joke from Nebraska. The Nebraska fans got mad at me when I told that joke on the ESPN radio. So it's an old joke. I got, like, you thought you got killed? I got killed. Like, people were murdered. The person from ESPN that was doing the 1,500 deal in Nebraska, he hung up on me. When I told that joke, he hung up on me. Because I was just like, I was joking. I was like, hey, because like towards the end of the interview, I was like, I know you guys want intel on the Gophers. And I was like, are people even listening right now with internet? Like, do you guys have internet, or how do they do this? Are they like sitting in their cars in Nebraska? Dude hung up. I had to text the co-host, which is Damon Benning, former player. I was like, dude, did your guy really get mad? He's like, yeah, he didn't understand your humor, man. I was like, dude, tell him I was joking. Like, relax, Nebraska. We know you have the internet. You guys are good now, so we can make the jokes. But no, so yeah, UCLA is going to be a good team. The one thing they struggle with is Dante Moore, who's from Detroit, Michigan. He was their starting quarterback last year as a freshman. He transfers for NIL to Oregon, not really realizing Dylan Gabriel is going to transfer because Lincoln, it's just all this stuff. So now he's the backup to Dylan Gabriel, and now UCLA is having to deal with this Easton Grabers kid or whatever. He's not good, and their running back's not they're just they're missing. And I talked to Deshaun about that. He wants to get
full
back
transition. It was Chip Kelly most recently,
and Chip Kelly wanted to make it a passing school. Prior. He wanted to make it a passing school with Dante Moore. Now they
wants
don't have
80 plays a game.
Yep, and they don't have that. Now they're trying to go back to the old Deshaun Foster days of run the ball, 2 tight ends, and so he has to re-recruit. He has to go back out and re-recruit, and so they're struggling. So that should be 2 wins. It's an 8 p.m. game, unfortunately. So that means midnight postcast. Hopefully you guys stick around for postgame and stuff. And Tanner Hoops telling the stats on KFAN radio.
Let's sweep the California teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Why not?
Because now it changes the perspective. You're 4-3 now versus being. I mean, what it could have been. It could have been you're 2-3 or 2-4 heading down there. 2-4 heading down there feels horrible.
Right.
3-3, you're like, okay, we go 4-3 now. Now we maybe can knock off Illinois. Maybe we can beat a Rutgers because that's the 8th in Cal Madness, get that game.
I heard they're not awful.
They're good.
Isn't that a 3? That's a 3. No, it's not a 3 road game stretch. Maybe it is. But you have Rutgers, you have Illinois, and then Maryland, and then Penn State's here.
And Penn State, but they got Maryland.
Penn State looks like a problem, right?
Penn State's good, but Rutgers, they don't ask Athan to do a lot, which the Gophers didn't either. But he has Kirk Shiraka, so Kirk Shiraka recruited him here, and that's why he's getting out of him what he wants. But he's only throwing for 115 yards some games, 190. He's not blazing 300, 400-yard games, but he's doing what Kirk wants, which is back to the Tyler Johnson, Rashad Bateman days. Get the ball out of your hands quick, run a little RPO.
Let the athletes do their thing.
Let the linebacker decide. And that's why, I'm looking forward to that game because they know Athan. They know what Athan struggles with. So they're going to be able to play with his eyes a little bit and say, Jack Henderson, Ethan Robinson, man, number 2 for the Gophers. I interviewed him. He's legit 6 foot tall. He's a legit NFL cornerback. And I asked him that. I'm like, because he came from Bucknell. He's a grad transfer from Bucknell. Smart. And I'm like, why'd you pick the Gophers? You're a grad transfer. You could have went anywhere. 6 foot tall, too. You're what people look for. And, he was a guy that didn't have a lot of offers out of high school, he said. He went to Bucknell. And then all of a sudden, he blows up on the scene. He starts having good seasons. And he said, when I looked at Tyler Newbin, Antoine Winfield, Jordan Howden, Benjamin St. Juice. You know, you can go down the line of NFL guys, Devondre Campbell, Carter Coughlin, you know, all these guys. He's like, man, I knew Minnesota's pedigree for defenses, you know, getting guys into the league. He's like, Minnesota felt like a good place for me as a DB. And that's why Coy Parrish probably picked it.
Well, and that's the problem for Mr. Kaliak-Manis.
Yeah, we
got the kid from Esco.
You got a bunch of guys. Coy Parrish is
top
legit.
Troy. I saw some PFF bid. Parrish was best true freshman defender over the weekend.
And if the was it Green or not Green?
He looks like
the
he's
freshman.
heating up, by the
freshman.
way.
If he doesn't get the concussion, Parrish doesn't play as much. I know PJ wanted him to play. He led the guys out the tunnel. PJ said as a DB, but he probably didn't play as much. That early concussion that activated Coy Parrish, and like you know, some guys get hurt and other guys step up and they never get back off the field. And Coy Parrish, did you see his jump? Like, I know he's a high school high jumper, but that kid can jump.
It was all of that.
He was up there. I was just praying that he didn't get hurt. Oh, because his legs got taken from under him, and he hopped up. And then number 8, Jacoby Lane, like that was so stupid and petty. He knocked the ball out of Coy Parrish's hands when he was celebrating with the students.
Right.
And then we get the flag, though. Like, why did we get the flag? Did you miss the fact that he, like, went petty Betty and over there and knocked the ball out of his hands? Like, petty. Yeah, he was so petty, man. Like, it was like,
I'm with you.
But it was like a Odell Beckham fighting the kicking tee. Like, you know, it's just like, it was like receivers crash out. Like, the guy from Alabama crashed out, which that's the new kid's term. Max knows that one. The Alabama
just
dude
taught Abbott that in his office earlier
crash
today.
out.
Is that going to end up in a station liner?
It probably will. Yeah.
I've heard no cap and say less in KFAN liners. I know where it's coming from. It's Chad Abbott, who doesn't have any idea what any of this means.
But yeah,
a lot of trust.
Crash out. Kids are crashing out now. And the kid from Alabama, they were losing. They're kneeling down for Vanderbilt. He crashed out. Dude,
he
Steph
lost
Curry
his mind,
threw his mouthpiece, then kicks the ball as the center is about to, like, kneel down one more time. The referee didn't even know what to do. He's like, dude, you know I got to throw this flag. Get off the field. Like, what are you doing? He was crashing out. So, number 8, Jacoby Lane, he crashed out on the interception, and he, like, went and knocked the ball in Coy Parrish's hands. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. And then for the brandishing a weapon, like, that is the funniest, like, flag.
You said on Fox, it's simply a matter of the Second Amendment.
Yeah. Like, you're allowed to bear arms. You can't pull it out. Like, guys that pull it out and shoot players, like, in the air, we know that, the air shooting.
Yeah,
stop the air shooting, because you're actually acting like, but just like, I'm just carrying. Like in Detroit, and that's what I tell people. I know Minnesota because one guy tweeted me like, "Hey man, like what if kids actually have guns?" So like, what are you saying? Because they have
with the
that's my wife is like, "Is that how they really sound?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's how I think they sounded." And he's like getting mad at me like as if I'm promoting gun violence. I'm like, no. In Detroit, you can open carry and have it on you. You can have it on your hip on a holster out. You like and the goal is if you know I got it on me, you're not gonna bother me. And that's all that
you can in Minnesota with a permit too.
You can have it out on a holster though?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
So he just had it on him. He was just saying, look, I got it. I'm showing you. Don't touch me. Don't test me. I got it on me. Hey, I don't get it. But Andy, he was just showing his abs off. He's been working hard in there. We know the equipment staff.
Tremendous shape.
That weight room. I don't know if you've seen that weight room for the recruits. Oh my goodness. It is nice. They got sleep pods. Have you seen the sleep pods?
No, I haven't seen the sleep pods.
Oh, it's like 19. It's like they're in 2060 or 2080. Like one of those movies where you see people sleeping in sleep pods. They have like these sleep pods that like are
like cryostasis.
It's like quiet. Yeah, it's supposed to be a quiet room. You go in there, awesome. You close the thing, you get you a 90-minute nap before whatever school practice. Like they have sleep pods.
I got to talk to PJ see if I can just go stay
take a nap
until my baby girl's about 9 months old. You mentioned the recruiting though, and then I do want to hit you with maybe a Vikings bit before we leave. But how big a deal is that? And I'll ask PJ about this too. There's a recruiting element to the kid from Esco ending the game with a massive pick and getting up on people's shoulders.
Yeah, the pitcher is elite.
Field storming.
That's a great pitcher too.
And so there's that moment, but for the recruits that got to feel the vibe of helmet school in town and sold out fan base, the stripe out, as you mentioned, and getting that victory. How massive is that? I mean, at one point you were a kid going on some of these visits.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were ever experiencing a moment like that as a recruit, but I picture as a kid when you're ultimately going to make a big decision like this, Saturday night did a heck of a lot for the recruits in terms of pushing them in the maroon and gold direction.
Yeah, I remember visiting Kansas, and they thought they were going to get us by having Paul Pierce host us.
Now, Kansas does not have internet. Is that accurate?
Back then, I don't think they did.
At least in Lawrence.
Their best thing was they took us to a bar that you got to eat peanuts and throw the shells on the floor. Like, that was supposed to be cool. And I'm like, I don't even eat peanuts, so this is stupid. Paul Pierce and Rafe LaFrance. I don't remember both. Yeah, so they were hosting us with the football players, and so they were taking, because girls love Paul Pierce and people love Paul Pierce.
And and the key is who are the Jayhawk football greats?
Exactly. So
none were available.
They took us to a basketball game, which that was cool. That was the best part of it. They do
Rock Chalk.
They do the newspaper where they're introducing the other team, and that was there.
That's an OG program.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was nothing like football though. Nothing like for that stadium, those students, that win. It's huge because not only that, and then you have a homegrown talent that shows I probably can go to Ohio State and sit for 2 or 3 years, maybe play, and then eventually, and maybe play, a little bit sooner. Or I can stay home, have a chance to play right away, maybe, for sure next year be the quote-unquote starter. Like getting punt returns, that's the key. Guys say this, like, because one of the scouts for the Vikings, he played with me with the Ravens. Chisholm O'Para is his name, and so he played, and then also Martin Nance, who played, who's the executive vice president of media and marketing. He and we always talk, and I'm like, hey, like when you guys scout NFL guys, I'm like, what do you look at? And he's like, well, it's like honestly, like it's so much internet now. I don't care about the helmet schools. Like I don't need to go to USC and watch a kid when I can see stats. I can see the game on ESPN2. I can see the game on Big Ten Network. And then I know, okay, I got to go to this school and see this kid. And so it doesn't matter where you go because coaches always try to say, oh, you come to Oregon or you come here, man. You're in the league. No, you're not. You're not.
I think you can still sell Aura, though.
Yeah.
You can still sell Aura in history, right?
But
plus 10,000?
Plus 10,000 Aura. Yeah,
but that Nike cash and the cool uniforms, you can still sell that.
You can sell that, but you can also sell, hey, you can play right away. You're going to get Nike here. You're going to get NIL here.
That's the key of a kid. You're going to be fifth DB on the chart.
Correct. Versus
in Columbus,
being 2 here.
But you're going to play 3 or 4 years at Bucknell and then potentially have the opportunity to make a career for yourself.
Correct. Think about Benjamin St. Juste. When he was at Michigan, did you know him?
Of course not. No,
nobody did. He was tall. He was long. He was good, but nobody he came to Minnesota.
He was just a guy. He was a jag.
Steve Smith. I like that one. When you look at him now in that defense, because he had safeties that were legit, he could play press man. He could show his length. Boom. Now all of a sudden, this guy's a second, third round pick. That's what you have to look at. Like guys get I could have went to Michigan. I was offered. Lloyd Carr to this day calls me a sucker. He was like, you were scared to come be great. You were scared to come wear the as they say, the maize and blue.
Right.
Penn State, Joe Paterno said the same thing. Like, because Penn State was my last recruiting visit. I committed to Minnesota the week before. And so I wasn't a kid that cared about visiting. My wife knows I hate traveling. I hate being on planes. I hate doing all that crap. Like, I would rather sit at home all day, every day if I could. And so I canceled my visit to Penn State. I remember Joe Paterno calling me back saying, hey, are you sure? I was like, yep, I think Minnesota's a place. He's like, oh, I hope you don't regret it. I was like, all right, I hope I don't. My sophomore year, you know what happens. We go down there, we beat them. I look Joe and Jay, right? Jay, his son, because Jay was my recruiting guy.
Didn't you roll out for like $180 and 2 that game?
Yeah, and I had the tip. So I was the Hail Mary tip was the last one. But I looked Jay right in his face. He just looked at me and smiled and walked off the field. I was like, yeah, I don't regret it. And then the next year we murdered them. We beat them like 44-7 or something. So, always, and then we beat Ohio State. Same, like I tell guys, like, you are in control of your own destiny. The school is not going to make you. You're going to make you. The name on the back doesn't matter. Your name can go anywhere. It's the name on the front. How do you represent yourself when you're on the field? Because again, you're going to be on TV. You're going to get, and now the Big Ten, you can go anywhere now. Because every game is pretty much a national game if you're a good, one of those top 12 schools even. And I think Minnesota's up there. So, yeah, Corey Parrish for the recruits, man. Like, there's no way you're a recruit and you're getting a call right now. You live in Minnesota by PJ Fleck or one of these coaches, and you don't consider Minnesota. Because if you take your best offer, there's no guarantee. And I say Minnesota's not their best offer. It might be, but I'm just being realistic. There's no guarantee what you're going to get out of it. And I'm not going to name names because I'm not going to do that. But there's guys that have gone to some of these top schools, Alabama, LSU, Notre Dame. They're okay there. And then what happens? They end up back in Minnesota. Imagine if they pick Minnesota from the start. Like, who cares what your Instagram says? Oh, I committed to Alabama. I committed to LSU. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to play there? Go where you can play. And then that's where I think that's the key for this. And then you end up building what the Gophers did. They were 10-2 with Rashad Bateman and Tyler Johnson. And you know what I mean? Like, it just takes some players. It takes a couple. And then you get them there. Like, that's what happened to us. You know what I mean? We had some guys that started coming in. We had a lot of defensive guys. Karan Riley, Greg White, now Styles G. White. He legally changed his name to Styles, by the way, because of the Teen Wolf movie. Like, he's that dumb. He also has a tattoo on his chest of the arc reactor from Iron Man. Like,
no, he doesn't.
Oh, yes, he does. Full chest tattoo that he's Iron Man. He truly believes he's a superhero.
That's sweet.
I knew Max would like that.
Respect.
Like, literally, his entire chest is an arc reactor.
Okay.
Like, full chest arc reactor tat. But yeah, you know, Styles G. White, you look at, you know, Willie Middlebrooks, I don't remember him, Jimmy Wyrick at corner, Tyrone Carter. So you just get some guys in there, man, and you could be good. And so that's where I think the Gophers are headed. Like, they have some guys. Darius Taylor's a guy. Drake Lindsey is a guy. Like, that next quarterback, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's going to be
like,
fun.
if I'm a receiver and I watch Drake in practice, I'm coming here because that kid can sling it.
Hey, you're the absolute best.
No, I appreciate
and
you.
we are out of time. Fanline podcastable for more of in-depth Vikings opinions from Ron. But I appreciate you hanging out in studio, man. Congratulations to baby girl, of course. We got picked to walk off against USC. We got a pick in London. It's been a blast of a weekend.
2 interceptions and a triple. Like, that was a great weekend for me.
That's not bad.
You know, and it's fun. We do the PJ Fleck, talk to PJ Fleck about this. Like, Tuesdays, we do the Flex show, you know, on campus.
Yeah.
And it's like, we pray. And wins and losses don't matter. It's how they lose.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's how they win. And I'm excited because PJ's going to come in like full bore, full speed running.
Oh, yeah.
Like having fun jokes, laughing. Like, that's the PJ I like. Like, it's tough because when you're a head coach, everybody's on you about, like, you know, I mean, you can't deny the internet. So you see the stuff. You know, that's why Taryn Morgan said he didn't want social media when he was in college.
You know, been some good times, bad times.
Oh yeah,
with
he
that.
definitely didn't have social media in college, and even Eli Manning. That's what Eli said. He's like, I'm not having social media when I play. Like, they would have killed Eli when he played. And so that's why he's like, I'm not doing it. Him and Peyton didn't either. Peyton's like, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm gonna wait. And now they're both killing it on social media. But if you think about that for PJ, that's tough. Like, people are just like mean, nasty. Like, this is your life. Like, you know, like, are you looking at the holistic approach of a team? Like, how are these young men? Like, you haven't seen any kids in Minnesota get arrested and beating up their girlfriends and, you know, all that stuff in the media. Like, Jabril Peppers, did you see that this morning?
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
like, arrested with cocaine for strangulation. So I'm guessing he probably choked out his dealer. Like, that's what it sounds like. Like, 3 men in an apartment, cocaine, 1 guy got strangled. Either somebody's bump was too big or somebody didn't pay the right amount for their 8-ball. I don't know what happened.
Personal experience?
I watch a lot of movies.
Yes, you do.
Clearly. I told you, me and my, like, when we first got married, that was a question on our wedding thing. Like, how many videos or how many DVDs does Ron have? It was over 400. So, yes, I watch a lot of movies. I don't do it anymore because now it's softball. Every weekend is softball. Next weekend is softball. After that, then she's going to St. Louis with another team for softball. Like, she got to go with a different team to somewhere else, but we're not going to do that. But yeah, it's softball.
That's
so now it's all softball. Yeah. You just wait till your girls, like,
it's already
especially in the third one though.
Soccer practice, play practice, gymnastics.
And now you got
swimming.
they're in plays.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Got Little Mermaid coming up.
Oh man.
No, it's better than dance.
Yeah, you're not a dance dad.
No,
You
dance.
couldn't do it.
No, that's ridiculous. It's like $1,000 for 2 90-second bits. Come on. That's just absolute. There are many great con games. That is one of them, for sure. Hey,
I can see you out there with the makeup and helping them out with their hair, and that's you. You could do it.
if asked, I would. Yeah, they're my girls. There's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah, the girls make you soft.
Oh, 100%.
It's like it's so hard to be tough with girls. Like, that's why I let my wife do a lot of the hard work. Because I can't. It's so hard.
It is.
It's so hard.
All right, you're the best, man.
Appreciate
Have a great week. You'll be with me for Fan Line 13 days from today after the Vikings hopefully improve to 6-0.
Beat the Lions.
Beat the
They're
Kitties.
gonna beat the Lions.
Absolutely. That's Ron Johnson at 3 Ron Johnson.
I love you, Max. You're my guy.
Love you too, Ron.
I love you.
And Max has got some NFL news.
Are you single,
related.
by the way, Max?
I am single as, yes.
And
I
how
almost said
old are
something
you? How old are
inappropriate.
you?
I'm 30 years old.
Ooh,
yes.
okay.
I'm single and ready to mingle. At Max Fuller on Twitter.
So,
by the
like,
way.
what's the
two
top
X's.
age? What's the top age? Like 40?
Ain't no top age, brother. ain't no top age.
And with that, we're going to pause. You're going to get an opportunity to win $1,000 with the hourly cash giveaway, and then some NFL news around the corner.
The Fan and Two Men in a Truck want to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword deposit at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword deposit. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
Yeah. Back 9 to noon. Max is feeling the plight of the producer because he put a segment together on NFL bits, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to hold on to that. We're going to keep that in our pocket. We're going to include. Are you with me tomorrow, or is it Brett? Do you know?
I believe it's still in progress. So we might be switching, but as of right now, it's Brett.
Okay.
But I'll be with you on Wednesday. One of these next 2 days, either way.
Well, we're going to keep it in our pocket. We're going to figure it out.
Holster it.
PA is returning from England today. I believe he is out tomorrow. Wednesday is still in talks. Thursday, the Minnesota Wild open up their season, and 9 to noon, we're going to be doing a Vox in the Box penalty show, and I'm currently in negotiations with former goaltender, Minnesota native, Duluth Go Crazy, Alex Stalock might be helping co-host some of those efforts on Thursday. He's got to find an hour that works. He's retired. He's got all this extra time on his hands, and he's slowly but surely trying to fill it up. But the season opens on Thursday against the Blue Jackets at XL Energy Center. We'll be doing that, and then it'll be a Michael Russo of The Athletic. It'll be a hockey-heavy feast on Friday. As the Vikings, they're not going to be playing, but they did play yesterday. They are 5-0, and hopefully, if you are with me tomorrow, we can use all those NFL-wide highlights. You got the Chiefs and the Saints this evening. But continuing to go into the bye 5-0, the impressive nature, and just kind of projecting like you didn't see this coming, and now everything that you've seen is so good, and I've been getting a ton of text messages on it. First of all, of all the countless KFAN bits, searching for the first loss anytime the Vikes start out hot is my favorite. Have a great show. 64686. You can't find it. Where are you looking? 64686. Tell us where you're looking for that first loss and if you can find it. Dustin and Bemidji, winning close and ugly games is what makes the playoffs. This team is picking each other up. Secondly, Rodgers looks old and frustrated. We talked about it earlier, Max. He didn't want to be on the field. He and Dustin here used a great example. In 2010, I don't know how much of it you remember, but Favre just didn't have it. Yeah. And there's the off-field stuff. I mean, just
the magic was gone. Yeah.
Guys, don't take pictures of your private parts and send them to people.
Yeah, please.
Okay, they don't want to see that.
Nobody wants to see
maybe
that.
That's just me, I guess. And maybe they don't want to see mine. But I've never tried it, by the way. But that season was a disaster on many fronts. But Favre just he got old real quick that year. That's kind of what, and he looked disinterested at times where it's just the bit ain't working and I'm just going to kind of pout and take my ball and go home. And there was that roughing the kicker penalty where he's kind of hobbling off and then he's about to go into the tent and then he jumps back out onto the field. It was just, I don't want to say it's a sad end to his career. He's had a tremendous career. But, for a team that, couldn't make a guy like Sam Darnold do in New York what he's doing here, and they go all in on an Aaron Rodgers, we're just going to skip that whole draft and develop properly thing, and we're just going to get a known commodity. Jets fans they are in a bad way once again. I just hadn't seen that from Aaron, and you saw it a little bit that Niners playoff game a few years ago. There was a little hint of that, but it was kind of sad yesterday.
It's weird to see. I think we're in the age where we're kind of spoiled by these older athletes. We saw Tom Brady do really well until he was about to retire. LeBron James is still playing at an elite level. He's near 40 years old. That we almost forget this is typically how it goes. And I think we all kind of thought Aaron Rodgers would follow in the vein of Tom Brady, but then that also just shows us that that's an anomaly. This is how it goes. No matter if you're Aaron Rodgers, no matter who you are, eventually Father Time will catch up with you. And I just didn't expect to see him so mortal so quickly, because the Jets are essentially in the same exact predicament they've been in for the last decade plus.
That's Max Fuller. I'm Nordo. When we return, head coach PJ Fleck, his squad victorious over the weekend, and the dagger was an interception in the end zone by Esco's finest, Coy Parrish. We're going to talk about all that with the head coach as he makes his weekly appearance here 9 to noon next. Welcome back, 9 to noon, Nordo in for PA, and we're just going to jump right into it. 24-17, the final at Huntington Bank Stadium on Saturday evening. The Gophers beat at that point, the 11th ranked USC Trojans. Lincoln Riley's team headed back to the coast with an L, and PJ Fleck, head coach of the Golden Gophers football team, joins me now. How are you doing? Congrats on the victory, Coach.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for having us on, and kids fought really hard. It was a good weekend for Minnesota sports there with the Vikings' huge win in London, and obviously us finding a way to get that one done.
There was some mayhem on the field after the game. I will say this as Coy Parrish gets that interception. I kind of had shades as somebody watching the game. It was kind of like Penn State 2019, Jordan Howden shutting the door on the Nittany Lions. This time it was the kid from Esco. That was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. He's a special player. We're really glad he stayed home. That's why, hopefully a lot of the local kids always stay home because you can get that type of experience. I mean, he's only played in 6 games, but they're carrying him off the field. The student body's got him on their shoulders. They're him on their shoulders, carrying him off the field. And that doesn't happen when you go somewhere else. I mean, everybody in the state knows who he is. Our student body knows who he is, and he's making a name for himself all over the country. And he loves football. He's just like Antoine Winfield Jr., where he's got a smile on his face all the time. Tyler Newman, smile on his face all the time. Somebody who loves to play the game and loves his teammates, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, and, recruits were in attendance. They got to watch that, too. They got to feel the packed house. You got Helmet School institution in town against the maroon and gold. It's almost in some ways, maybe that's like a recruiting video, PJ. Stay home, become a Gopher, make a massive play, maybe get carried off the field. Just put that on tape for the kids.
Well, no, you're right. They got to see it firsthand. And I think that's one of the big things for us is making sure that as many people get to as many games as they possibly can to really feel the culture. That's our 3rd sellout of the year, and that's huge for Gopher football. That's huge for us. This is our 8th year, and we're becoming and want to be the brand that everybody recognizes. And when you got a Big Ten conference that expands from east to west and 18 teams involved in that, it's a very competitive league. But when you're talking about being in the best conference in college football, and being a member of that, you're very honored to do that. But you also want the players in the state of Minnesota who grow up in the state of Minnesota to truly realize that you can have an even more elite experience here than anywhere you could ever go in the country and still play all the team that you just talked about. So I think that's what's really exciting about it. You can have victories like we did over a top 12 team. You could be a top 12 team. Like, we've done all that in 8 years. So that's what's really exciting about it. And I think more and more people are seeing that.
There were 2 decisions that you made, not that you're asking for my permission in these games to make these decisions, but you had 2 choices that I loved in the game. The first one's in the 3rd quarter. So your squad ends up punting, but that's not what I'm getting at. USC had just scored, and it's that 7-minute slog of a drive in the 3rd quarter, and you had a 4th and 2 on your own side. It's a massive decision. You got to keep this ball. And you get that conversion. I think it was Darius, absolutely loved it. How instinctual or calculated are some of those moments like that, PJ?
Yeah, those are things that, you first of all, when you go into a game, you have to have some type of game plan where you have to have a mindset of like how the game's going to go. It doesn't mean it's going to go that way, but you have to feel that's what all those 70 hours of preparation are all for, to know how this game needs to go and how you can control it. But then you also have to have the ability to respond to how the game's going. And I just felt in that moment, if we didn't get a first down there and we punted, it was 6 in one, half dozen the other. If we punted at that point, I felt like we weren't stopping them enough with what they were doing, that they could have went right down the field And it didn't matter if they had the ball at the 40 or they had the ball at the, the minus 30. It wasn't going to matter. So to me, that was a call that we had to be able to get that first down. And those are the calls you have to make. Our players executed it perfectly, got it by a half yard to a yard. And, and then that led, obviously, to how the game went on. But I think that really kind of got us into a flow to be able to get some points at the end of that. And that was huge for our team.
And then, of course, the other one, and I'm sure I don't know if there's angel devil sitting on shoulders, but, you just could have kicked it, PJ, right? And I'm sure you saw that or heard that, but in the end, it's the tush push on fourth down with Max and the opportunity to just put this thing on ice for the most part, or at least get to play full field defense with that 7-point lead. That was a big decision, absolutely paying off with Brosmer's third rushing TD of the night.
Yeah, I mean, those are the ones that are really hard to explain. Van Morrison has a great song that says, "Why must I always explain?" That one's hard to explain than others if you don't get that. But here's where it came down to. We knew we wanted to be able to go score a touchdown there. A field goal was going to do us no good. The only way we're going to kick a field goal is if the timeout situation and how they used their timeouts would have taken them down, and we would have got a first down on the third down play, not the second down play leading up to that. So, which would have gave them like 15 to 20 seconds left. We would have probably kicked it in that situation with no timeouts. But the way they were moving the ball all night, we were able to get 3 takeaways, but they were still moving the ball on those drives. When you got a quarter of a yard on one play to beat the top 12 team in the country at your place in front of your crowd, it's a no-brainer. It's not that hard of a decision. Because to me, put the ball in the hands of the players, let them go win the game. Don't take that from them. Let them go win the game. And if they don't, I'll take the blame for the call. It's easy. Let them go get the reward of the victory. Let me, if they don't get it, take the defeat. It was a win-win. So to me, believe in your team, and then we made a play at the very end. And just like I said, I'm glad we didn't kick it because they went right down the field. And they had to be able to call certain plays differently because they had to score a touchdown instead of a field goal, which led to Coy's interception.
That's Gophers head coach PJ Fleck, weekly guest, 9 to noon, UCLA just around the corner before I believe there's a bye week for the Maroon and Gold, chance to get healthy and chill for a bit. But a couple more for you here, and then I'll let you get on to enjoy the day. Ja Joyner. So if you're just looking in the box score, a couple of tackles on the day, a sack, a TFL, a couple of passes defensed. But the hidden statistics within games, I was talking with your sideline guy, Guardsy, about this, is he gets pressures in the game that forced an interception, forced an intentional grounding. So it's not absolutely splashing in the box score, PJ. But a guy like Ja Joyner and the work that he puts in on each rep, I think he got held a couple of times too. Those hidden stats lead to victories.
Yeah, I think those are just how hard you play. And I think the harder you play, you don't get to control whether somebody gets a holding call or not on you, but you can show that they're holding you a lot more if you're really rushing the passer with 100% effort and incredible how and determination, because they're bound to hold you eventually. And then the harder you're playing, the holds look worse. And then those are the ones that usually get called. But he's getting better from game 1 to game 6. He's gotten so much better. And if he just keeps his oar in the water, he just keeps getting better. He's going to have a great second half of the season, but he's very disruptive. He's been really good for us. I think the reason he can do that is because I think we got 3 to 4 other guys up there that it's hard to single block as well. So I think they all work with each other and for each other really well, and that's what's led to some of his success.
It's become a weekly tradition here, PJ. Gopher Hoops' Parker Fox will be in studio next segment. He would like to ask you a question. Parker?
Hey, Coach, obviously, you talk about guys playing hard. It seems, the whole game, you guys just almost wanted that game more than USC did. Obviously, protected home field. You got a lot of alumni in the crowd. I sat first half with Chris Hopman-Bell, one of your favorite receivers, and just listened to him kind of pick the game apart and talk over defenses. But even more than that, talk about what it means for him to be back in the stadium and to cheer you on and cheer the team on. How important is that for you to, obviously you want alumni coming back, but the culture that you've created, that alumni are proud to come back, guys like Chris Hopman-Bell, you saw a bunch of them there at that game. But how important is that for you to, continue to create that, culture and relationship with your players?
Parker, that's a great question. There's 2 things that I believe a head coach has to do. This is the number 1 job of a head coach. We all get the winning piece and the judgment piece of that. That's a sidebar. There's 2 jobs of a head football coach. The first job is to make sure everybody that plays for you loves, falls in love with, and always loves their alma mater, period. And that, I think that is a job of a head football coach. Win or lose, get them to enjoy their college experience, love their alma mater, always want to come back. The second thing is to create what you can, the best connection they can have for the rest of their life, is be able to create the life that they say they want, on the field, off the field, as an NFL player, as a lawyer, as a doctor, as a teacher, whatever it is. Our job as a head coach is to put the resources around them that allow them in that 4 to 5 year, and Chris Altman-Bell's case 7 years, that experience to create a circle around them that says, hey, listen, I'm going to have a chance to do whatever I want because I went to Minnesota and because of the life culture and the life program I played for and because I love my alma mater. If a head coach can do that, then you'll look back on, you'll be fulfilled one day. If you don't, it'll be full of just wins and losses, and everybody forgets those. So I think that's the job of the head coach eventually in college football.
What an absolute party on Saturday night. Congratulations again on the victory. Good luck against UCLA before the bye week. And thanks as always for the time that you give us weekly, whether it's PA or myself this morning, PJ. Thank you.
Yeah, it means a lot, guys. Yeah, row the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers, and Skull Vikes. Bye-bye.
Cheers to that. That's PJ Fleck, head coach Gophers football. That victory puts them at 3-3. UCLA, new head coach Deshaun Foster, I believe. That's this upcoming Saturday. Then they get to chill. And Parker, thanks for hanging out in studio, by the way.
Awesome. Always a pleasure.
We're going to pause, come back, and talk about Saturday night with Parker. We'll talk about the game in London yesterday and enter the final hour on fire. It's Nordo in for PA on a Monday. It's 9 to noon.